ये डिलिमिटेशन की एक्सरसाइज जो 2008 में बंद थी, इसको आपने क्यों तुरंत से शुरू किया? फिर डिलिमिटेशन ऑलरेडी ड्यू इन 2026 अक्रॉस द कंट्री, आसाम डिलिमिटेशन आप कर रहे हैं 2026 के बाद, क्यों नहीं कर सकते? नो constitution of separate delimitation commission as was done in J&K, तो why election commission is doing it? हो सकता है ये सब प्रश्न आप लोग भी पूछने वाले हो मुझसे, जिनको मैं पहले ही अपने से लिस्ट कर रहा हूँ और जवाब भी दूंगा इनका. Then impact of delimitation exercise on the sixth scheduled area and how do we kind of reconcile this these concerns. And कुछ लोगों ने ऐसा भी कहा कि कोई ड्राफ्ट तो पहले से बन के तैयार है और वो ड्राफ्ट सब में घूम रहा है, तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि मतलब वो पहले से बन गया और या पहले से कोई पुराना ड्राफ्ट है. People talk about some draft which is in circulation that it will happen, this will be reserved, this will not be reserved, this is what will happen. So I thought these are the major issues through which what others said. There were other representations which were very specific to the constituencies, that reserve this constituency for us, give us the representation, merge this block with this block so that our regional aspirations can get proper expression in the political process. So those I am not discussing, those are individual things, this could become very large. But these were broadly the issues which were raised. So friends, मैं अब इन बिंदुओं का जवाब भी आपको देने की कोशिश करता हूँ. इससे पहले मैं डिलिमिटेशन एक्सरसाइज के फैक्चुअल डिटेल्स और हाइलाइट्स से आपको अवगत कराऊं. I want to emphasize and assure also, and through your medium, which is a very powerful medium and which is actually the only medium for us to reach to the masses, that we will consider with great care and with due consideration all these suggestions which have been received by us, and as far as possible कानूनी दायरे में रहते हुए प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ इक्विटी के तहत सभी सजेशंस को डिलिमिटेशन प्रपोजल में समावेशित करने का, इंक्लूड करने का, जगह देने का, एकोमोडेट करने का हम भरपूर प्रयास करेंगे, बिल्कुल सिंसियर प्रयास. The consultation, let me admit here and emphasize, during the entire process would be the key. Disclosures and consultation, so that इतने दिन के बाद जो एक्सरसाइज हो रही है ये सबको पता रहे, कोई रूमर्स की गुंजाइश ना रहे और सबकी भावनाएं और बातें हमारे पास तक पहुंचती हैं. हम खुले दिमाग से with open mind we will consider all. So now I'll after this try and give answers to what questions have been raised. So first of all, about why not a separate delimitation commission and why election commission is doing it. So friends, as you are aware, असम का राज्य का म्युनिसिपल डिलिमिटेशन एक्ट 2002 के तहत डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन द्वारा शुरू किया गया, जो कि प्रक्रिया के पूरा होने से पहले ही विभिन्न कारणों से सबसेक्शन 1 ऑफ सेक्शन 10 ऑफ द डिलिमिटेशन एक्ट 2002 के तहत प्रदत्त शक्तियों के अधीन डिफर कर गया. You are all aware of this. Now the act provides that this deferment can be extended, and 28 February 2020 को ऑनरेबल महामहिम राष्ट्रपति द्वारा डिफरमेंट ऑर्डर को निरस्त कर दिया, meaning thereby that the delimitation exercise can start. The jurisdiction of the commission. Why not delimitation commission? Why the commission? The jurisdiction of the commission has been triggered by the 15th November 2000 to start the process. So section 8A of the Representation of People's Act prescribes and provides that section 9(1) and read along with section 9(1)(c) and D of the Delimitation Act mandates the Election Commission of India to do the exercise of delimitation for the 4 states here, as and when it is so mandated, and as and when the deferment is discounted. And in this case, this trigger happened when the Ministry of Law wrote to us on 15th November 2022. Section 8A was inserted with a particular objective. And the objective was that whenever the situation becomes normal, the Election Commission can complete the process of delimitation, and constitution of a separate delimitation commission for this purpose may not be necessary, because it has happened in all other parts of the country. Therefore, wherever it is remaining, this specific section was inserted. And Section 8A provides, I will just quote this: if the President is satisfied that the situation and the conditions prevailing in the state of Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Manipur, or Nagaland are conducive for the conduct of delimitation exercise, he may by order rescind the deferment order issued under the provisions of 2020. So in relation to the state of Assam, this order has been rescinded, and therefore we have started our exercise. And language framework. The second major question was as to why 2001 and why the seats are not increased. फ्रेंड्स, इस विषय में मैं आपको बताना चाहता हूं कि जो भी एक्सरसाइज है ये एग्जैक्टली कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल और लीगल प्रोविजंस के अंतर्गत है, और इसके बिना हो भी नहीं सकती. इट हैज टू हैव a very strong legal base. Article 171 of the Constitution of India provides for the basis of census year. This is the Constitution article which provides for the basis of census year and readjustment of seats, the number of assembly and parliamentary constituencies will remain the same. Let me read this relevant provision for you. Article 170, subclause 3. Upon the completion of each census, please mark my word, each census, the total number of seats in the of each state into territorial constituency. So after each census, it will be readjusted by such authority and in such manner as Parliament by law prescribed. So in this case, under this article, Parliament by law has prescribed Section 8A of Representations of People Act that it must be done by the election. So this is what it is. And secondly, so there are two parts to the delimitation. One is after every census redrawing the boundaries of the existing constituencies. This is what it provides. So this is exactly the exercise which is happening. And now, what this further provides, provided also that until the relevant figures for the first census taken after the year 2026, when people ask us, कि आप 2026 के बाद क्यों नहीं करते? So this is I am coming to the next step. Provided also that until the relevant figures for the first census taken after the year 2026, so 21 census is not yet complete, and it is not any other census. 2026, it shall not be necessary to readjust. जब 2026 के बाद में एक सेंसस आ जाएगा, तो फिर रीएडजस्टमेंट the total number of seats in the legislative assembly of each state as it will not be necessary. constituencies as may be readjusted on the basis of 2001 census under this clause. So it is exactly what we are taking the exercise. This is strictly as per the constitutional and legal provisions in which we have no say, in which nobody has a say. So friends, विधानसभा की इस प्रकार 126 और लोकसभा की 14 सीटें निर्धारित रहेंगी और इन्हीं के भीतर एग्जिस्टिंग लीगल कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल फ्रेमवर्क है. वी विल ओनली इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस रीएडजस्ट द बाउंड्रीज. एज रिगार्ड्स द रिजर्वेशन फॉर एससीज एंड एसटीज, इसका रिजर्वेशन अगेन इन द 332 these are article of the constitution or the legal framework, which says that this will be done on the basis of proportion of the population of SCs and STs to the total population, where their population is largest in number. So you first determine the SC/ST population and then also see where in which constituency their population is largest. And again, this is exactly in terms of section 80 of the RP Act 1950, section 9, 1, C and D, Article 82, 170, 330 and 332 of the Constitution. There were concerns about due representation of various groups and their political rights as regards the STs, STs and others also. So as regards the suggestions of others, other than SC, STs for reservations, this is not permissible. But the suggestions and aspirations at times conflicting and competing और एक दूसरे से एक ही विषय पे अलग रह भी लोग, natural, स्वाभाविक है. We have all heard them and we have duly recorded it, and the very constructive suggestions will give due regard to all of them. And when we do the readjustments, realignment, so we'll keep in mind the principles and broad principles I'm telling you now. The suggestions given by all representatives, geographical area, and different factors such as boundaries of the existing administrative units, connectivity, geographical compactness, physical features, public conveniences, etc. All these factors go, and it's a holistic view which is taken, which is in addition to the population and the geographical area. This will be done on the basis of units administrative existing as on 1st January 2023. विधानसभा और लोकसभा का परिसमन करते समय बोडोलैंड टेरिटोरियल एरिया डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स और ऑटोनोमस डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स के हितों पर भी भारतीय संविधान के आर्टिकल 330 और 332 के तहत प्रदत्त जो प्रावधान है उन्हीं के अनुरूप निर्णय लिया जाए. The relevant provision also I will quote here of Article 332, which provides a specific provision for Assam with regard to autonomous districts and Bodoland territorial area district for reservation of seats in the assembly. And further, clause 6 provides no person is not a member of a scheduled tribe of any autonomous district of the state of Assam shall be eligible for election to the legislative assembly of the state from any constituency of that district. These are further safeguards which are provided for and specifically for the state of Assam. This provision further suggests that election to the legislative assemblies of the state of Assam, the representation of the STs, constituencies included in the Bodoland territorial district so modified and existing prior to the constitution of Bodoland tribal area districts shall be maintained. This is another safety. And Article 332 के तहत विधानसभा में autonomous districts के लिए भी seats reservation का प्रावधान होगा. Friends, ये भी हो सकता है कि इस एक दिन में, 2 दिन में जो लोग हमसे मिले हैं, कुछ लोग दूरी के कारण या किसी कारण से हमारे पास ना आए. But as I mentioned, that the philosophy behind the entire exercise to have a very wide and meaningful consultation, we are providing time till 15th April for anybody to give us suggestions. We have publicized our mail IDs It can be given to CO office. It can be even to go to DC's office, who will send it to us. Any suggestion which any citizen, any group, any academic institution, any research institution, any political party, any interest group which wants to send us, it is most welcome. We assure you that we'll give it very, very serious consideration of each and every suggestion which we receive. After that, now since we have heard everyone, we'll firm up our guidelines on the basis of which we'll prepare a draft. And that draft also will be published. And thereafter we'll give 1 month's time for everyone to either accept or object or suggest or modify or whatever one wants. And after we have received in 1 month those suggestions or those changes or sujhav, we will again come back to give a personal hearing to the issues which arises out of the draft publication. So this is just again to explain to you how consultative, how participative exercise we want to make, and how much earnestly we want to make an effort that interest, competing interest of each area people are taken into consideration and account. So, through your medium, I again thank all the citizens of the state and stop here for any suggestions, and you can also give us suggestions more rather than only questions. Thank you very much.
Though sir has given you all the details of the legal things, if you still have questions, please introduce your name and organization. We'll take a few questions and then sir would
So this is organizations have made pertinent point pertaining to incentivizes the population growth and incentivizes the the more population. So your take on that, is it possible that commission will figure that? Can we expect the next Lok Sabha elections to be held will be on a delimited constituencies? Is there any timeline for that?
You had a question here?
Same question, big curiosity among common people also, that will the process will complete before 2024 Lok Sabha election?
आपका नाम और organization बता दीजिए.
Pankaj Sharma from News. Sir, I have another one, so very short question.
कुछ और बताइए.
The main opposition party Congress not attended the meeting, believing that the whole process is fixing. They use the word match fixing. Some hours before.
कोई और question?
I have a question to supplement the previous questions. I'm Ratnadeep from NDTV. The main principal opposition party has not attended the meeting. They have held press conferences. They have been categorically saying that there were memorandums and further communication sent, and they had been waiting 2 months for EC to reply on those. So, EC's clarification on that.
You had a question up lane. पीछे आपके.
I'm Sukrita from the Indian Express. I'm really sorry about this question, but I'm just going to request you the point about why the 2001 census is being used. It's a little technical. If you could just break it down in a little bit of layperson language, it would be really helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Sir, myself, Dilbar Hussain from Green Cross Bank. I want to ask you, sir, in Jammu and Kashmir, this census is taken in 2011. Why in Assam 2001? Why?
So let me take this much, and I suppose these are basically you've covered all the questions.
I'm extremely calm. They can help. My question is, some of the parties, some of the political parties and organizations also, they raised the issue about NRC. They said that the delimitation should be carried out after the NRC process is over. So what is your take on this?
So first question is about the uneven population growth in this state. See, as I mentioned, there are a variety of factors which would go into the decision making, the geographical area, spread, and 2001 census, population, and others. Essentially, these are the parameters on which it would be based. But as I also mentioned, some groups asked for taking this aspect into consideration and also asked for the margin and the variation within the constituencies to be increased so as to take this factor into consideration. We have received those suggestions, but we'll take a call after studying it and after seeing the other precedents. As regards timing, generally timing is not that we comment on, and we don't. The timing is one thing which we do not disclose either. But having said that, people ask us when are you announcing elections, what is the schedule, what is the timeline. So this people come to know only through the press. So we announce it straight away in the press. Nobody can ever know what is the time. But we are very encouraged by, look at the very fact that close to 60-65 organizations, 10 political parties coming and spending time with us, and as much as time they wanted. We continue till date, and we are giving them still time. So the way the constructive suggestions have come, it suggests that there is a understanding, there is an appreciation, there is a participation to get this exercise completed. If we continue to receive such kind of support and such kind of suggestions, we'll do our work of doing it in a speedy manner as much as required, but with extreme care. And it's a complex exercise. It has to take into account the different geographical, historical, cultural, demographic aspects. हम ऐसा भी नहीं करेंगे कि that जल्दी में कोई गलती करे. So we'll reconcile all this and come within the time frame which we think would be feasible. Why 2001 again you asked? See, I would request you to read the article which I mentioned, the 170. So there are two aspects to this entire exercise. One, एक तो जो constituencies already existing हैं, उनको हर census के बाद this provision provides for their readjustments. This is one part. For some reason, if that readjustment is not taking place, and last delimitation took place on the basis of 1971. So, जो आज existing boundaries, उन boundaries को आप change करेंगे 2026 के बाद first census के basis. Until then, wherever it is remaining, the article says would be maybe readjusted on the basis of 2001 census. So that is the relevance of this particular. Now, friend asked about why in J&K then it was 2011. A very pertinent question. And you may also ask, somebody asked us in I forgot to mention, कि वहाँ तो delimitation commission बनाया था जहाँ आप कह रहे हैं कि नहीं बना. So the status of the number one, you should appreciate that the status of the state underwent change. That is the first point. And the second point, the J&K Reorganization Act itself provided for a delimitation commission in 2011 to be the census base. So it is as per the Act of Parliament. I hope I am clear to the person who has asked this question. So that is the difference. Now about NRC. See, the two issues are different issues. And there is no legal bar in in carrying out two processes separately and simultaneously, and there is no legal sequencing which law provides. I hope I am clear to you. So these are two legally distinct activities, not having a legal bar or a legal sequencing, and triggers under different legislative framework. So we are well within the process of defining this based on a census figure, which is the 2001, and the trigger for us is the assignment of the deferment by the Honorable President, and thereafter, under Section 8A, starting this exercise. So this, I suppose, answers everybody's questions. Is there? Oh, so Congress. Do we have their letters which they wrote to us and our replies? Yes, do we have? Yes, you mentioned it, you do not repeat. We are quite, I mentioned it in Karnataka also. इस तरीके के टर्म तो हम सुनने के आते हैं. ये कितनी ही मेहनत करें ये शब्द तो हमें सुनने पड़ते हैं. तो लेकिन इसका जवाब दूंगा मैं. तो आप डिसाइड करेंगे कि फिक्सिंग है कि नहीं. जैसे मैंने पहले ही आपको कहा कि कोई जो एक ड्राफ्ट की बात हो रही है, सर्कुलेट हो रहा है, ये हो रहा है, ये हमें कोई डिक्टेट करेगा, दिस इज नेवर possible. The record of the election commission is not such that we take dictation from anybody, which we never take and we will never take. So let's clarify. देखिए, एज ए कमीशन हम सभी अपने जितने भी प्रोसेस हैं उसमें हमारे दो मेन स्तंभ हैं जिस पर पूरा इलेक्शन कमीशन वर्क करता है. दो आधार हैं, दो फाउंडेशनल आधार. वन इज डिस्क्लोजर, सेकंड इज पार्टिसिपेशन ऑफ स्टेकहोल्डर्स. आप जब चुनाव का प्रोसेस होता है, आप सब लोग तो, मैं तो उस समय भी आया था जब 2021 में आपका चुनाव हुआ, तो भी उस समय पीक में था. हम लोग जो भी इलेक्शन का प्रोसेस होता है, वो चाहे मशीन का कहीं जाना हो, पॉलिटिकल पार्टी का जाना हो, फोर्स का एम्प्लॉयमेंट हो, रैंडमाइजेशन हो, कोई भी प्रोसेस हो, इलेक्टोरल रोल्स बनना हो, हम सबको नेट पे डिस्क्लोज करते हैं और सभी पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज को और स्टेक होल्डर्स को उसमें साथ लेके चलते हैं. यही दो हमारी स्ट्रेंथ है और यही दो चीज हमें हमारे प्रोसेस में ट्रस्ट क्रिएट करता है. आप हर समय पे आप हमारे साथ मौजूद रहते हैं, इवन पोलिंग पे मौजूद रहते हैं, इवन काउंटिंग के समय मौजूद रहते हैं. आप देखते हैं आपकी आंखों के सामने सब हो रहा है. हम पॉलिटिकल पार्टी से सिग्नेचर देते हैं जब मशीन जाती है, रैंडमाइजेशन होता है, पोल क्लोज होता है, शाम में कितने लोग वोट दिए उसका एक फॉर्म उनके हाथ में पकड़ाते हैं, मशीन का नंबर देते हैं, काउंटिंग के समय देते हैं. तो वही प्रोसेस इसमें भी है. तो हमारे लिए सबकी सहभागिता और सबकी साझेदारी इस प्रोसेस में हमारे लिए तो बहुत अहम है. इसलिए हम इस बात को बहुत वैल्यू करते हैं और बार बार रिक्वेस्ट भी करते हैं कि सभी स्टेक होल्डर, सभी पार्टी इस प्रोसेस को आगे बढ़ाने में अपनी सुझाव दें. मैं इतना ही कह के रोकना चाहता हूं, अगर आप ज्यादा जिद ना करें, क्योंकि हमारी इच्छा यही है कि सब लोग हमारे साथ आए और पार्टिसिपेट करें. और फिक्सेशन अगर हो सकता ही नहीं है, बिकॉज फॉर्मूलाज एंड बेसिस हम आपको खुद बताएं और उसके बाद ड्राफ्ट पब्लिश करेंगे. कोई फाइनल ऑर्डर तो करने ही नहीं है. ड्राफ्ट पब्लिश करने के बाद आप हमसे पूछेंगे कि आपने ये कैसे किया. इट इज 3, 4, 5 पार्टीज, बट ऑल ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस एंड ऑल सिटीजंस, सभी नागरिकों का पार्टिसिपेशन सबके समक्ष रखेंगे. पहले आप खुद देखेंगे कि वो जो पुराने ड्राफ्ट्स की बातें होती है उनसे कितना डिफरेंट है, कितना उनके साथ है. आपको खुद पता लग जाएगा. यू विल बी जज योरसेल्फ, यू विल जज योरसेल्फ. आई वुड थिंक आई विल स्टॉप इट हियर. जहां तक वैसे फिर भी जनवरी में, जब दिसंबर में हमने ऑर्डर निकाला था, तो जनवरी में हमने सबसे पहले टाइम मिलने के लिए सम्मानित सदस्यगण को दिया था जो हैं, हमारे पास में है। मोस्टली उसमें भी मुद्दे यही थे कि 2001 में क्यों सेंसस कर रहे हैं, बाद में क्यों नहीं। हमारे मुद्दे मेन थे। ये लेटर है अपने पास। एनआरसी की बात करें, पहले क्यों कर रहे हैं, डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन के थ्रू क्यों नहीं हो रहा, आप क्यों करते हैं, यही मुद्दे कल भी हमारे सामने में और लोगों ने भी उठाए हैं। उसके बाद में हमने ये निर्णय लिया कि हमें सबको सुनना चाहिए, और यही निर्णय लेकर हम लोग यहाँ आए हैं कि 1 to 1 सुनने के अलावा इसको ब्रॉड बेस किया जाए, सबको सुने, और सुनने के बाद आपके माध्यम से मैंने सभी प्रश्नों के मोटा मोटी मोरलेस जवाब भी दे दिया। तो हमारी सबसे अपील है, और 15 तारीख तक हमारा ये प्रोसेस खुला हुआ है। जो भी हमसे समय चाहेगा, उसको जितना समय चाहिए उतना देंगे, जितना मिलने की जगह होगी उतनी लेंगे, और चाहते यही है कि इसको बहुत पार्टिसिपेटिव, मीनिंगफुल बनाए, और स्टेट के हक में जितना बेस्ट टू बेस्ट सबकी एस्पिरेशंस को इकट्ठा करके हो सकते हैं वो। थैंक यू।
Long session, I think. Let's start it today now. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to one thing. Myself, Bigjuti Locker, I'm from NB News. The thing is that we know that most of the political parties, what they have said, because they have given a lot of information to the press.
I guess.
But just 1 minute. I would like to know what is the mainly expect the people, civil society, जो आसाम की आम नागरिक है, जो आपसे मिले लगभग 60 to 65 जो सिविल सोसाइटीज है, उन लोग का मन में क्या है, थोड़ा सा आप खुलासा करेंगे?
Please, let this be last because we will forget.
We are getting late for the flight, please.
When can we expect the draft delimitation? And the second is, when the exercise is carried out throughout the country in 2026, will it be again?
इसका तो सवाल सर दे चुके जवाब, please.
No, you have another point in this. After this, I answer that. See,
19 lakh people are excluded from NRC. Will they counted in delimitation?
pardon, say again.
19 lakhs people are excluded from NRC till now. So they are included in counted. They are counted, sir, in delimitation process.
So now these 3 questions I answer last. Your question and friend's question from there is a very interesting question as to what is sense we get from the overall. And I'm telling it from my heart, because this question I never expected, and I can't summarize everything. 65 representations spread over 10 to 15 minutes each, 600 minutes into 2-3 lines. But general जिसने भी बात की सबके लोगों में ये है कि जो पीस और एक तो अपनी उस पीस को मेंटेन करना, उसमें रहना, और उसके बीच में अपने सजेशंस देकर इस एक्सरसाइज को बहुत स्मूथली करा लेना, ये एक जनरल हमें महसूस हुआ। Nobody was by and large opposed to this except these 3-4 points. ये 3-4 पॉइंट बहुत लोगों ने उठाए कि 2001 क्यों, एनआरसी का क्यों नहीं, और डिलिमिटेशन कमीशन के थ्रू क्यों नहीं। इसका जवाब मैंने आपके माध्यम से दिया। आई होप आई हैव बीन एबल टू सम एक्सटेंट सेटिस्फाई यू। जरूरत पड़ेगी फिर करेंगे। लेकिन सबके मन में एक एस्पिरेशनल असम, एक एस्पिरेशनल सोशो पॉलिटिकल सिस्टम जिसमें पीस हो सबकी नजर आए, and which is a very healthy and encouraging sign for us. We felt very happy about it. The second thing was about 19 lakhs which you mentioned. See, as I mentioned, these are 2 separate activities, distinct activities. What we are going to do is on the basis of the population of a particular year base. So if that population was there in the census, it will get counted. These are 2 different aspects, distinct of after 2026 and after. As I read that it will be the census after 2026. First census, I'll read that again for you. Provided that until the relevant figures for the first census taken after the year 2026. So, and at that stage, even the numbers would be decided. Right now, I said there are two stages. One is the reorganization of the existing system within the 171. And then that is the second instance. And it's a little early to say because the 21 census is not yet complete. When would it happen? When would it come? All that are at the moment in a speculative. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
सर असम पक्षों की एक सवाल है सर, अगर किसी सदस्य सांसद की सदस्यता कानून के तहत लोअर कोर्ट के जजमेंट के बाद रद्द किया जाता है, उसके बाद इलेक्शन कमीशन ऑफ इंडिया का क्या रोल रहता है और कब तक चुनाव घोषणा हो सकती है?
आज जिसको डिलिमिटेशन पर रोकते हैं उससे संबंधित जवाब आपको देता हूं, इसका भी जवाब सही समय पर दूंगा, बट आज इस पर थैंक यू वेरी मच। प्लेजर
बेटा कर लेने दे क्या कर ले जेटा अल्लाह आशा लो और की आशा नहीं और डिस्प्ले लग रहा है ये फालतू नहीं